Buddy?
Good evening, Mayor Ford. At this moment, we are live on Henry TV. I want everyone to keep that in mind, and we'll start the meeting in about 2 minutes.
I don't know.
Hey,
Do I need to send him one? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay, good evening. Can everyone hear me? Okay, great. All right, well, I just want to say good evening and welcome to Hampton County's T-Splost Town Hall to educate and inform the public about the upcoming T-Splost referendum on the November 2nd ballot, and also to highlight the project lists of the various cities and the county. So right now I'm going to turn it over to our county manager, Mrs. Sherry Hobson-Matthews, and she will introduce the panelists.
Good evening, and thank you, Melissa. I'd like to thank our panelists who are with us this evening to educate our community on what a T-Splost is, and specifically to highlight some of the projects that our staff members have identified as critical transportation projects and or infrastructure projects here in the county. This evening, I have a host of wonderful guests that are joining us to answer any and all questions that you as residents and or citizens may have pertaining to T-Splost, but I would like to reiterate that this is not an advocacy conversation. This is simply to educate the public on the projects that will be considered should the voters elect to enact an additional penny for transportation projects here in the county and our four respective cities. This evening, I have from our county team, Mr. Sam Baker and Mr. Rocky Romero, who will be highlighting all of the county infrastructure projects. And then from our various cities, I have with the city of Hampton, I have Mr. Alex Cohelis, who's our city manager for Hampton. City of Locust Grove, we have the city manager, Tim Young, and the assistant city manager, Bert Foster. With the city of Mcdonough, we have the city administrator, Mr. Preston Dorsey. And with the city of Hampton, we have Mayor Ford, who's in dual roles, and his team, Ms. Brecca Johnson and Mr. Dacius Aaron, representing the city of Stockbridge. And so this evening, we are going to go through all of the projects that have been identified as projects for consideration should T-Splost pass, that would be funded through this 5-year program. What I would like to ask is that anyone who is participating this night, if you have questions, there is an opportunity for you to enter those questions in the chat box, and we will work very diligently to try to answer all of the questions that you all present tonight. In the event that your question is not answered tonight, we will have a frequently asked questions section on the henrytsplost.org website, and we'll make sure that we get that information up at the end of the presentation. So at this time, I'm going to pause and I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Sam Baker, who will go through the county projects, and then followed by Sam will be a presentation from Mr. Alex Cohilas with the city of Hampton. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Matthews. Good evening, Henry County
I'm
citizens.
sorry, Sam, let me interrupt for just one moment. I think we were going to play next a video. Is that where we were going to go with that? Okay, so we're going to play the video.
My apologies. Thank you, Melissa.
You're welcome. Okay. You got to start it. Am I unmuted now? Tell me if it's playing now.
Hi, I'm Sherry Matthews, Henry County Manager, and I'm here to talk about T-Splost and answer some of the most frequently asked questions posed by you, the residents.
Hi, I'm Mario, and I have a question. What is T-Splost?
That's a great place to start. T-Splost stands for Transportation Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. In other words, you get to vote on whether to raise the local sales tax to be used for investments in roads, sidewalks, and trails in Henry County.
Hi, I'm Mallory, and I want to know how much T-Splost is going to cost me.
Great question. A T-Splost would add one additional penny to the existing sales tax for anyone who shops or makes purchases in Henry County. Over 5 years, the T-Splost is expected to generate $245 million for transportation projects.
Hi, I'm Ariel. How do we know where our money gets spent?
Transparency is so important. Henry County, as well as the cities of Hampton, Locust Grove, Mcdonough, and Stockbridge have laid out their full project list so that you know exactly where your money will be spent. You can find that list at henrytsplost.com under the Project List tab.
We'll also be hosting a town hall meeting on October 13th where we'll cover that full list.
It's not just county residents that use these roadways. Do we have to pay for it all?
That's an important point. According to the Atlanta Regional Commission, approximately 1/3 of the SPLOST will be paid by non-county residents that are buying goods and services when they visit or travel through Henry County.
Hi, I'm Carlos. So what can I vote?
Easy question. In-person early voting starts on October 12th, or you can vote in person on Election Day, which is November 2nd. You can also vote absentee and get to weigh in on the referendum. And if you need additional information or to request an absentee ballot, call 770-288-6448.
Okay, so you saw that video and it was a little bit off, just like one of those old movies with the English subtitles, but it runs perfectly on our T-Splost page. And it also ran perfectly about 15 minutes ago. So I apologize for the little delay, but we'll proceed now, I guess, with Sam Baker. And you can see this video again on the T-Splost page, and it's really fabulous. So I hope you go watch it again. Thank you.
Good evening, Henry County citizens. My name is Sam Baker. I'm the Director of Transportation Planning with the Henry County government. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy life and joining us this evening. Tonight, we will be talking about the transportation projects that we plan to implement if the referendum passes on November 2nd. So with that, can we start the PowerPoint presentation? Let's go to the next slide. So Henry County and the cities of Stockbridge, Mcdonough, Locust Grove, and Hampton will present our projects. Each jurisdiction has its own list of projects. I will be presenting the Henry County projects. Next slide. Henry County plans to implement 7 major transportation projects with our portion of the funds. Out of these 7, 6 are road widening projects, and 1 is a new road or road extension project. The first project is State Route 81 widening from Postmaster Drive to North Bethany Road. The second one is Gardner Parkway widening from State Route 155 to I-75. Third, Jonesboro Road widening from Mill Road to North Mount Carmel Road. Fourth, Mill Road widening from Flea Market to Jonesboro. Fifth, Mcdonough Parkway, it's a new road extension from State Route 42 to State Route 155. Sixth, Rock Quarry Road widening from Hospital Drive to State Route 138. And the 7th, Fairview Road widening from Hearn Road to State Route 155. These 7 road projects add up to 15 miles, and the costs add up to $155 million. I want to point out that the city of Mcdonough is going to contribute from its part of T-Splost funds towards the widening of State Route 81 and Mcdonough Parkway. And the city of Stockbridge will contribute towards Rock Quarry Road widening from its own part of T-Splost funds. And later on, the cities will present their list of projects, and Mcdonough and Stockbridge will give you more details on their share of towards these road projects. Keep that On the previous slide, I showed you that the road projects add up to 155 million. Keep that dollar amount in mind as we go to the next slide. We expect, the Henry County expects to receive 165 million and some change from this T-Splost if it passes. I said out of this 155 million will go towards the 7 major transportation projects that I mentioned. So that will leave us with $10 million and some change. Our plan is to share this $10 million equally among the 5 commission districts. So each commission district will have $2 million for road resurfacing throughout the county. Now, Henry County Commission District 1 has chosen to transfer $250,000 out of its $2 million resurfacing funds towards the City of Locust Grove's State Route 42 project. Now, Locust Grove will give you more details on State Route 42 projects later on in this presentation. Next slide. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay. So previous one. Now the cities will present their list of projects. You will notice that when the cities go over their projects, that while Henry County has focused on road widening and capacity increasing projects to relieve traffic congestion throughout the county, the cities have a variety of projects, their projects include projects like sidewalks, trails, pedestrian bridge, roundabouts, intersection improvements, road resurfacing, traffic signals, overpass, street alignment, and so on. I do not want to steal their thunder, so I will stop here and turn over to City of Hampton County City Manager, Mr. Alex Cohilas.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to lay out the projects that the City of Hampton has submitted for consideration for the voters. We have submitted a total of about $9.4 million worth of projects. There's 12 specific projects and 1 general resurfacing project, which will address multiple roads. I'd like to begin with the major transportation projects, if you would put that slide up. The very first one is Elm Street. In addition to repaving, and this is a project that we're keen on because the county is paving Wynn Road from Highway 81 down to the city limits, and Wynn Road changes name when it hits the city limits and it turns into Elm Street. So part of this project, and it's part of the reason why it's rather expensive, we're also going to replace some corrugated metal piping that goes underneath the road. It's deteriorated over time and causing us some stormwater issues, and it's threatening the integrity of the road. So we're going to replace it with a box culvert, head wall, and that sort of thing. You can see the other things on the slide. It's going to entail some utility relocation and right-of-way and easement acquisition and flood analysis. The other 5 major projects, major transportation projects, are College Street. We have to, while we're repaving and fixing that, we have to replace some failing pipes and structures. A lot of the infrastructure in Hampton is aged and decaying, and City of Hampton has, up until this point, has never had a stormwater fee. So the city has struggled to keep up with decaying infrastructure and not being able to properly maintain this type of infrastructure has led to decay and long-term maintenance problems that have now come home to roost, and we have to fix them. So you'll see along with the paving, we're going to place we're going to fix some of these stormwater infrastructures. Same thing with Central Avenue, dealing with stormwater pipes and infrastructure. Woolsey Road, Barham Street. Barham Street is an interior, a street in our old historic district, which is frankly substandard, one way. It needs to be widened, and we need to, make it safe and provide for one lane of travel and some on-street parking, add some stormwater infrastructure, do milling, paving, and put curb and gutter in. We also, East Main Street, we're wanting to tie in. This is another opportunity for Henry County to blend their effort with the city of Hampton, since they're going to be paving what is known as Georgia 3 outside of the city limits. And this is an opportunity for us to collaborate and use one contractor that's coming as they pave through the county, from the county to the city limit line. Then we can pick up and go and finish it as it traverses through the city of Hampton. If you go to the next slide, we've got a couple of intersection improvement projects. East King, Mcdonough Road, we definitely need some improvement there, lights and changing flow of traffic and making it, that's a misspell on that. I just want to point out for any citizens that might be watching, it says Roswell intersection. That's a mistype. That's the Rosenwald intersection. That's where 3 streets come in at odd angles. It's quite unsafe. We need to rework that, repave it, and we need to put in proper signage there. We also have Hampton Locust Grove Road and Mcdonough Street. That's going to be a significant improvement, traffic intersection improvement. We also have multi-purpose trail projects, and what we're doing is we're repaving these 2 main streets, and we've captured the cost of this in the prior slide where you saw East Main Street from Georgia 20 north to the city limits, and Woolsey Road from downtown to Bear Creek Boulevard. As we resurface and resurface that area and put sidewalks, instead of putting white sidewalks, we wanted to be a multi-purpose trail. We're very committed, as are our colleagues in the county and the other cities, towards building trails and adding different types of different modalities of transportation, allowing people to bike, ride, or walk, or use trails as a way of transportation. If you go to the next slide, you can see that we have two specific resurfacing projects, which will include resurfacing sidewalks and signage signal. That's Mcdonough Street from Shelby Street to East Main Street. We also have Elm Street from East Main Street to Bridge Mill Drive. That will include resurfacing and sidewalks. The last is the 13th, what I call the overall 13th category. It's just resurfacing multiple streets. We were able to get a very good contractor at a low price when we put our previous SPLOST projects out to bid. We were able to, with very similar money, able to pave 17 streets in the city of Hampton, which we just completed earlier this year. And we believe we'll be able to get virtually the same number of streets. They're short streets, are not as long as some of the streets in the county or Stockbridge, but it'll be citywide. So that's just a thumbnail sketch of what we're trying to do. Again, I'll say that we have, these projects are estimated to go $9.47 million. We believe that just on our cautious calculations that Hampton's portion of revenue that would come from SPLOST would be a little less than that. We were aggressive and tried to get the most possible. And we hope that if the economy continues to run strong, then the collection will be sufficient to fund all these projects. If not, we may have to scale back on some of the scope. But these are all needed. City of Hampton has 41 miles of road. We have far more need than we could possibly meet. And as we have discussed among ourselves earlier, from the city's standpoint, if we were to rely on normal funding, it would take us in excess of 10 budget years to pay for it out of our normal operating budget. I would also point out that one of the questions that Ms. Matthews was asked in that video about, where does the money come from? It's generally estimated that on a T-Splost, especially for counties that are in a metro area, we have 75 that goes up and down through the middle of our county. If you're on a major transportation hub like that, about a third of your income comes from people that do not even live in your county. They're stopping, they're buying gas, they're eating at your restaurants, QT Raceway and Waffle House become our best friends in Henry County for people traveling to Florida, returning to Ohio or Canada. Those are the folks that are going to spend money in our county and help pave our roads and, frankly, not get on our surface streets. So that's one of the big pluses for T-Splost, and I would sincerely hope that the citizens would consider that when they go to the polls to vote on the issue. But thank you for your time and the opportunity for me to express what Hampton has proposed as a project list.
Thank you, Mr. Kohelis. We'll go right into, I believe the city of Locust Grove is next.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Alex. The city of Locust Grove, we actually have about the city of Locust Grove has about $7.5 million. We actually did a conservative estimate on here in terms of expected revenues. We think it maybe be more than that, but we estimated just to be safe with all the pandemic stuff. About $7.5 million, of which we're proposing to bond over $7 million of that once it's approved, and to get started on all these projects simultaneously. Mostly being the paving, resurfacing projects. If you could put the slide up, please. Thank you. Just kind of an overall, we have the State Route 42 Congestive Relief Project. I'll go over that next. The Bill Gardner Enhancements and Widening. This is some work with the county in terms of cost sharing, in terms of widening Bill Gardner towards the Hampton 155 area. The State Route 42 extra lane between Bill Gardner Parkway to Marketplace Boulevard. Resurfacing projects. You'll see that, number one on our list, of course, is the congestion relief. Number two is resurfacing, making sure that we catch up and get all of our roads that are in the most need paved, and we'll show you where those are. They're dispersed throughout the city. State Route 42 and Bethlehem Road, the signal and intersection improvement. And then we also have some bikeway and pathway networks, some shareways and signage to supplement with some of our SPLOST 5 work and some pedestrian corridors. Let's go to the next slide, please. The first is the Highway 42 Congestion Relief Project. This is $3.5 million. This will be supplemented with revenue from and studies and guidance from Georgia DOT. You'll see it starts up around Colvin Drive and Marketplace and ends up at the Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard intersection with Highway 42 at the post office. It incorporates the major intersections at Marketplace, Peaksville, and Bill Gardner Parkway. And the main focus here is to nail down at a minimum of 2 cross access points for getting across either under or over the railroad, And the other one would be possibility of parallel roadways. As you know, Jackson Street functions some of that, and some will be improvements to that as a reliever and corridor. Other would be new roadway segments to help distribute traffic during peak periods, and even some pedestrian improvements in some instances would be that. And then and intersection improvements, of course, would be the key there, along with some other projects that we have. On the right, and all of these are fact sheets. You'll find them on our Facebook page and soon on our website. Or just two combinations. One of them is our Bill Gardner West. It's in the red area going from I-75 towards 155. That would go towards right-of-way contribution and other costs related to that widening project there. The other one is in the pink over between Marketplace and Bill Gardner. And that's mainly adding an extra lane and reconfiguring the intersection at Bill Gardner and Highway 42 to accommodate more lanes and more turning movements and phase signaling as needed to get more traffic moving in that area, especially during these peak times. If you'll go to the next slide, please. The next slide here is for our resurfacing, and you'll see on the left just some of our target areas for resurfacing. You'll see Barn Station subdivision in pink. You'll see an area along Jackson Street between Grove Road and Skyland that's in the orange color. And then the other highlighted area in the blue is the Skyland area, the Grove Creek subdivision, and elements of Grove Park subdivision. All of these streets do need resurfacing. Then there will be a combination of milling, patching, and overlaying with new asphalt. Then the next one on the right is are continued in the area. This is the south side of the city. You'll see Indian Creek, which is downtown toward Tanger Boulevard. Then you'll see the what's called Linden Park subdivisions. In the part that's outlined in the orange is Berkshire at Linden Park, next to the elementary school. And down below that in the pink is what's called Briarcliff and Hawthorne at Linden Park. All this is still would be milling, patching, and resurfacing with new asphalt. Of course, any kind of improvements to signage and striping would go along with that. Do I have one more slide? No, I do not. Again, those fact sheets are on our Facebook page, and will also be on our website and other locations for if you need further information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Young. And again, for those that are viewing, please go to the henrytsplost.com website, where you will find all of this information for all of the city projects and county projects with mapping to explain some of the projects as well. So thank you very much for those details, Mr. Young. Next, we'll move to Mr. Preston Dorsey, City Administrator for City of Mcdonough. Mr. Dorsey.
Thank you, Sherry. Thank you to all of the city manager, mayor, and staff that are on this call. We appreciate the time to kind of go through a quick snapshot of some of the things we hope to accomplish here in the city of Mcdonough with our T-Splost funds. As we all know, the city of Mcdonough is the county seat for Henry County. We have about 29,000 citizens that live here. And our biggest issue is that we have 4 highways that dump into our downtown square. So to say the least, our traffic congestion is an issue here in the city of Mcdonough. What we want to do is improve our traffic to make it move quicker and easier through the city of Mcdonough, and especially some of our bike paths, walking paths, and those are some of the issues that we'll talk about now. So if we can put up the first slide, I'll go through some of our major projects. Some of the projects, and you've heard these in Sam's presentation, some of the projects that we hope to do with some of our T-Splost money is State Route 42, 42 North up to Highway 138. We want to do some widening and relocation of utility lines. State Route 81 from Postmaster Drive out to North Bethany Road. This is a joint project. We'll also ask to do some widening and relocation of utility lines. As we know, Highway 81 is a very congested highway here. State Route 20 to McGarry Road and Lawrenceville Street. This is a dual project or a joint project with DOT. As you know, there are 3 roads that run into Highway 20 there. We have Lawrenceville, McGarity, and it is a very congested and probably one of the most dangerous intersections we have here at the city of Mcdonough. So we're asking to do a dual roundabout at that location. Racetrack Road and Travis Road, as some of you know, will have a major subdivision that's going to put there. So we're going to ask for an intersection improvement at a roundabout at that location. State Route 155 out to I-75 North. That's widening of State Route 155 and the relocation of some utility lines. Mcdonough Parkway and Bridges Road. As you know, we have Wesley Lakes Elementary School right down the street from this intersection. We're asking to do a roundabout improvement at that location. Racetrack Road and Iris Drive, for those who drive that intersection know that's another dangerous intersection here in the city of Mcdonough. This will be a joint project with the county. We want to do some intersection improvements and a roundabout at that location. Mcdonough Parkway from State Route 155 up to Turner Church Road. They want to do an overpass at Turner Church Road at State Route 155. Bridges Road and Simpson Street. If you've been down Bridges Road, Simpson Street and Highway 20, that street needs to be realigned. Those 2 streets offset that intersection, so we hope to do some intersection improvement there. Geranium Park at Highway 155 and Judy Drive, relocation of some utility lines, construction of some stormwater dam trails. Veterans Drive to Oak Park, we want to do some stream bank restoration to include stormwater projects. And there's a few other things with bike trails on there. Could we go to the next slide, please? These are some of the trails and sidewalk projects we want to do here in the city of Mcdonough. Jonesboro, I won't go through all of them individually, but Jonesboro Road Park, walking and bike trails, some multi-purpose trails there. Avalon Park, some more multi-purpose trails there. West Alexander Park and Mcdonough Parkway. For those of those that are not familiar with the city of Mcdonough, that's where our train wreck happened back in 1900. We want to put some walking trails, a bridge, and an overlook deck so people can come and see the site of our train wreck. State Route 20 from Turner Church up to 20 to Turner Church. That we're going to do some sidewalk connectivity there. State Route 155 North to Lawrence Street and Turner Church Road, some more sidewalks. So those couple of other projects are some of the sidewalks that we want to do here in the city of Mcdonough. We also want to resurface 67 streets here in the city of Mcdonough. So what we, as the other city manager said, we were conservative on our cost, but we're looking for about $25 million to accomplish these projects. And we know that these transportation projects, such as what we've talked about here, these projects can have an immediate impact on our local community that uses our roads, bike paths, our sidewalks, and this is all can be done with T-Splost funds. But Sherry, thank you for your time. Thank you for listening, and thank you for everybody on the panel.
Awesome. Thank you, Mr. Dorsey. As you all can see, for those that are tuning in and listening, we have quite a few projects that are ongoing. And as Mr. Baker has indicated, not only do we have some major congestion relief, we have some walkable, sidewalk, and other projects that are being planned, not only in the county, but in the respective cities as well. So Mr. Dorsey, thank you so much for that. So this evening, our final city is the city of Stockbridge. They will provide an update on the projects that the city has identified. We'll hear from Ms. Brecca Johnson, who is the Community Development Director for the city. Ms. Johnson.
Good evening, Ms. Matthews, Mayor Ford, distinguished colleagues and citizens. So tonight, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about Stockbridge projects. If we could have the first slide. So I'll jump right into the joint projects between the city and the county. One of which was mentioned by Sam earlier, the Rock Quarry Road extension, Highway Hudson Bridge Road to State Route 138. We do have a $4 million investment in making that a joint project with the county. We also have Rock Quarry Road extension, which will be a new road, which will be a $2 million investment. Next slide, please. And then we've got several projects that we're looking at road and pedestrian improvements. Again, we are looking to allow for walkable areas. As you can see, we've taken an investment in our downtown area like Burke Street, Love Street, downtown Pedestrian Bridge, which will be new, and some other properties as well. I won't go through the full list, but I do want you to take a look at the fact that we're looking to provide walkability throughout our downtown area. And that is mostly due to the fact that we just completed an amphitheater and are also looking to build a cultural arts center all in the downtown area. So I'll kind of just go through a few of them that are downtown. Burke Street, that's for sidewalks and pedestrian access. Also Love Street, downtown Pedestrian Bridge, Hudson Bridge, and Eagles Landing will be at road servicing, which is of course outside of downtown. Old Atlanta Road, Davidson Parkway. The Davidson Parkway is a street that covers several jurisdictions. It's Clayton County, City of Stockbridge, and Henry County as well. So that kind of skirts all of that, and we're looking to resurface the portion that is in the city limits. Ty Street is downtown, Campground Road. We have some developments going on there that adding these sidewalks will be a major improvement to that area. And then Peach Drive. Next slide. And finally, we looked at curb and gutter and our nature trails. We wanted to make sure that we provided for some other areas where people could enjoy the community by, walking trails, 10-foot walking paths. And we've outlined it here. Wilson Avenue, Nolan Street, Child Street, Wilson Street, Walker Street, and so on and so forth. We're looking at improving the area by curb and gutter, sidewalks, and to widen those spaces. Again, downtown, Davis Road also, curb and gutter and sidewalks from Shields all the way over to Clark Park. And then Brush Creek Trail, 1.5 miles we'll be adding there. Reeves Creek Trail extension, we're adding 2 miles. Walt Stevens Road Trail will be 1.7 miles. And then you have several locations at MLK Senior Heritage Trail. So a culmination of these projects comes to about $29.8 million. The county share would be 30.54. So we've got roughly a difference of about $647,000. So we tried to find conservative ways to do these projects under the TSPLOST ticket. So please keep in mind these efforts are to allow for economic development opportunities, because developers are constantly going down our streets, having their real estate agents see what we have to offer. And these are perks. These are perks to residents. These are perks to new businesses wanting to locate in our community. So if there are any questions, we have Mayor Ford and also Mr. Desch's Aaron, who is the Public Works Director. And if I can answer anything, I'll be more than happy to. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Ms. Johnson. I really appreciated that update from the city of Stockbridge. At this time, I know we've had a couple of questions that have come in, and I definitely want to make sure that we stay on target. So I have some questions that have come in, and so I will throw the questions out and let's see what we can get answered for our citizens that have tuned in. So my first question, and while this is not related to our T-Splost, I'm going to toss it to Rocky Romero, who heads up our county Splost program. There is a question in terms of, is there a timeline on when the exit 218 bridge will close? And again, I know this is not one of the projects that's on our project list for consideration, but I do believe, because we have citizens that are tuning in, if we have an opportunity to respond to some of those questions, I'd like to respond to them. So Rocky, can you speak to, I believe, the Divergent Diamond that's under construction?
Yes, Sherry, good evening, everybody. This is a GDOT project, as Sherry mentioned, and it's currently under construction. We have not given any notice of the road, the interchange being closed. Typically, we provide, and GDOT as well, a week in advance of closing any roads. So once we get this information from GDOT, we'll definitely place this on our Facebook and also on our county website. But the interchange is staged to be completed by summer of 2022.
Very good. Thank you, Rocky. And again, I know that's not part of T-Splost, but I wanted to make sure we got that question answered. So Tim, I have a question for you. We have a question that's been posed. Can projects be added or taken away from the T-Splost project list?
Well, typically with SPLOST and T-Splost, you can't really remove a project, but that project on the list, you really are kind of bound to do it. Even if funding does kind of go away, you are kind of bound to kind of get that project done. Adding, you could probably add a project if you had more money, and if you could do the other projects at the same time. But in terms of really deleting, you really can't delete the projects. There's only one case where you can do that if it's infeasible to build. Say if you had a road project and for some reason a big, the road collapsed, the bridge fell down, or something you really can't feasibly do the project that was on there. Like say if there was the railroad took one of the streets away and put rail tracks over it, that would be something into a moment where you could not actually do the project. But typically you're required to do those projects. Like I said, if you get more money, like I said, if we get more money than what we had projected, we probably will be adding projects in there. So we'd like to be in that position.
Very good. Thank you, Tim. So another question came in. What other counties have a T-Splost program? Sam, I don't know if you can assist us with that, or if you can check your records, but I know we've provided this information to our commissioners, and Rocky may have the information. So Sam and or Rocky, other counties that have T-Splost programs.
It's a pretty long list.
Sam has it.
About 30 counties, starting with Athens, Clark, Banks, Bryan, Bullock, ends with Worth. So a list of 30 counties have T-Splost.
Okay, very good. And again, that information, we will add all of these questions to our frequently asked questions on the county website or on the henrytsplost.com website. Mr. Lucadamo, are there any questions that have come in on your end from the public that maybe our panelists can address?
We're all on mute. I can ask a few here. One of the bigger ones was just if this gets approved, on average, how long is it going to take to have these projects realized?
I'll turn it over to Mr. Rocky Romero for the county side.
Yes, for the county side, there's some projects that we are actually in design and also in right of way. So I just want to quickly, if I can, just go through those, since only 7 projects. State Route 81 widening, that project is currently in design, and we expect to start acquiring right of way spring of 2022. So this funding that this budget that we have is for construction only. So basically, it'll be just about a shovel-ready project. Another project that we're working currently in design is Mill Road widening. As everybody knows, that's where Sam's Club is, a very congested area. So we're working on the design currently on that. Mcdonough Parkway, from State Route 42 to 155, that project design is completed and right-of-way completed as well. So this is a project that will be shovel-ready, and the duration it will be about, construction-wise, about 2 years, since we're going to be building a bridge over State Route 155. Rock Quarry Road widening, we are working on final plans. We are actually currently acquiring right-of-way as well on this project. We expect completion of all the right-of-way by next summer. So this project will be under construction once if T-Splost passes. And those are the projects that we have currently in design or buying right-of-way. Typically, a widening project design takes about 2 years. And depending on the amount of parcels, it could take between 8 to 12 months to acquire right-of-way. And then construction, typically on a 4-lane widening, 2 years to 2.5 years.
Very good. Thank you, Rocky. Are any of the city reps, would you all like to speak to any? And I think Mayor Ford and Mike, shovel-ready or projects that are ready to move forward?
I did, and I appreciate the opportunity to answer this question. Obviously, once this passes, if that's the case, of the will of the citizens, as a 5-year collection. So all of them be done within a 5-year period. But you've got to realize the fact that joint projects with the county for Eagles Landing Parkway and along with Rockaway Road, as Rocky just mentioned, they're extremely important in reference to having the traffic flow decently through those areas of our city and also the county itself. And then, of course, the projects that are indicated for downtown Stockbridge are extremely important. The pedestrian bridge and the expansion of the trail network in the downtown area is very important in reference to the redevelopment process for the downtown and revitalize a downtown area and to establish a good tourism network and to help feed into our entertainment area of dealing with the amphitheater as the anchor there. And then there is a part of our community, Stockbridge, is underserved. It's been underserved for a while. So the roads and sidewalks and pedestrian crossings in that part of the community, that part of the city, would need to be adhered to. So we'll have to balance that all out and try to make it all work in this aspect. So those are 3 primary areas, but it'll all be done within a 5-year period. And we'll see how the funds come in, of course, and then we'll see how the council directs that along with with me as well. And we'll make sure that we get input from the citizens as we try to look at those particular areas and prioritize everything. So thank you for the opportunity to answer the question.
Thank you so much, Mayor. Any of the other cities have any specific projects that may be shovel ready? Mayor Ford did bring up a very good point that this is a 5-year program and that the expectation is to make sure that the projects within the program are completed within that 5-year time frame. Any other comment? Okay, Tim.
We just, like I said, our first phase, of course, is working on some of these small items for relieving congestion, but our main focus, at least to the get-go, is to repave our streets, and we're ready to go on that. We've already started some of that work already with some of our TSPLOST 5 funds and some of the stuff with Bethlehem at 42. We're starting to work some of that with dialogue with Georgia DOT. We've had some questions about Bethlehem Road interchange and that sort of thing. So that conflicts with some of that, but we're trying to get started with those pre-planning elements to be able to get signals and pavement down as quickly as possible.
Very good. Thank you, Mr. Young. Mr. Lucadamo, any other questions?
Yeah, some more specific ones to each city. Somebody asked if sidewalks were in the future for Fairview Road and Stockbridge.
Okay, you said Fairview Road. Fairview Road is not in Stockbridge. If you're talking about Flippin Road, that part of Flippin Road is actually in Stockbridge as well as the county, and that is in part of our trail plan that we bonded $1 million for as well. So we'll be covering that as well in this aspect. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Somebody asked what the selection criteria was for resurfacing the streets in Mcdonough.
We had our staff go out and look at each of these streets, and I think we came back with a total list of 67 streets throughout the city of Mcdonough that need to be resurfaced, milled, or widened. So we let our staff look at that, and they brought the list back to us. Also, we had some of our city council members and mayor forwarded these roads that need to be resurfaced. So that's how we came up with the list.
And then one more I saw was somebody asked if they could expect to see the state or the federal government pitch in.
So that is a great question. And I can tell you, I'm sure, and Tim's nodding, that our project lists were really based on not only the needs of our community, but what's in our comprehensive transportation plan and those projects that may be shovel ready, but needs that extra push. I can tell you a number of the projects that Tim listed. I'm sure City of Stockbridge, Locust Grove, Hampton, and Mcdonough all have projects that either touch a state route, traverse the state route, or has some type of direct correlation with the state. And so we are definitely wanting to make the state aware that we believe that these projects are critical, in as much as one of the reasons we are dedicating funding to a number of those state routes. I can tell you a lot of our projects, being those major projects here in the county, either have state funds that are allocated towards the project, or they will help to enhance some of those state routes that we have. Tim, Mayor Ford, Ms. Johnson, Mr. Dorsey, or Mr. Cohelis, please feel free to chime in if you want to add anything additionally.
I personally thought you covered it well. Thank you very much.
Sherry, this is in one of our main projects, which is that congestion relief project along 42. The state has already contributed $800,000 as part of the pre-planning study of within that area. So we're hoping that this will kick off more funding and more projects from GDOT within that corridor.
Absolutely.
I
Sam?
will add that yes, we are pursuing federal and state funds, but federal and state funds do not meet our transportation investment needs, which is precisely why we are pursuing this T-Splotch referendum.
Okay. Mr. Mcdonough, any additional questions?
We got a couple just kind of related to voting, and it was mentioned on the Q&A video, but I know we had a little bit of, I think, kind of sound and video issues with that. So maybe if we want to rehash kind of just where people can vote in each of the municipalities and how that might all work.
Okay, I'll ask our communications team to place that slide back up on the overhead for us.
And I think this would be on the website itself. Yeah, there you go. Under FAQs, there's a how do I vote question there.
Well, as they navigate through it, it is under the, again, henrytsplost.com. And under our frequently asked questions, you have a how do I vote link. As everyone should be aware, early voting did start this week, and you can find the various voting locations on our county website under the Board of Elections. Election day is Tuesday, November 2nd, and all ballots will have the T-Splost question included. I would like to remind those individuals that if you are in a municipality outside of, I believe, the city of Hampton, and maybe Locust Grove, you will have to ask for 2 ballots, one for the municipal election and then one for your T-Splost election. Again, I can't advocate for or against, but I would certainly ask that everyone go out and vote. You know, whether you support or not support T-Splost, please make your vote count. Again, our purpose tonight was to educate the public on the project list. I know this is quite different than what we've done with our SPLOST program in the past. Under our SPLOST program, we've had a multitude of meetings where we actually go to each jurisdiction, but we were working expeditiously to try to make this happen so that we could get the information on this upcoming November referendum. Again, the henrytsplost.com website is going to be the most useful link that you can utilize. If there was anything that we went over tonight, if we went too fast, all that information is on the website. It actually has a project map, project description, and it should even have what the estimated cost for the project is. Again, I want to thank our city partners, City of Mcdonough, Locust Grove, Hampton, and Stockbridge for your participation this evening. I know we had a couple of bumps in the road from a technology standpoint, but please know that, again, the information is available on the henrytsplost.com. Also want to reiterate the collaboration that has occurred amongst the county and the 4 cities to identify this project list. You've heard us talk a lot about, well, the project's in the county or it's in the city, but at the end of the day, roads have no boundaries. And so at the end of the day, all of these projects will benefit all 240,000 residents here in our county. And so I certainly ask you to take a look at the website and make a decision on, you know, what you feel best is for you. Again, this would be an additional penny to our existing sales tax. And I think we heard Mr. Baker mention that we have individuals that are commuting through our county spending money, and those individuals are helping to contribute to that sales tax collection. So again, I'd like to thank our city partners for partnering with us on presenting this information tonight. Again, if you have any additional questions specifically relating to a county project, you can contact the county's public information officer. And then if you have specific city questions, I think our city managers and city staff will stand ready and available to assist you all with any questions that you all may have. Again, if you had a question that was in the chat box that we weren't able to get to tonight, please know that we will review all of the questions and we will add those questions with an answer to our frequently asked questions section under the henrytsplost.com. This point, I know my communications director is back on. If there's anything that I've left off this evening, Melissa, please feel free to chime in.
No, I think it was a great informational meeting, and we will update the T-Splost page with all of these questions and the answers. And certainly anybody who has additional questions, reach out to me and I'll make sure it gets the appropriate person to answer for you. So you have all the information you need about T-Splost.
Very good. Well, thank you all so very much. Y'all have a wonderful day. And again, early voting starts this week, and then you can vote if you don't want to do early voting on November 2nd. Thank you all so much and have a great evening. Bye-bye.